Hello, Taurus, and welcome to this, your October 1st through October 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my little channel. All right, Taurus, we're going to jump right in, but before we do, let me remind everyone, I do not edit my videos. If there's glitches in the video, if I stumble over my words, if cards go flying and I have to get up from my seat and go get them, so be it. If I consult with a psychic or tarot reader, I expect authenticity from them. And therefore, when I am doing readings, both private consultations as well as general readings, such as these videos, I also put authenticity out there. What you see is what you get. Okay, Taurus, we're going to pull cards for 6 different areas of your life. I'm going to pull all of the cards up front. I'm going to leave them sitting face down, and then I'll begin the reading portion. If you don't want to watch the card pulling portion of this, by all means, scroll ahead a little bit, but otherwise, here we go. First cards that we're going to pull are cards of where you're at now and what is influencing you now here as I do this video at the end of September 2023. What's going on for Taurus? Excuse me. Okay, we've got 1 card out and 2 cards out and 3 cards out. Okay. All right, let's put these in the order in which they came out. There we go. All right, the next cards that we're going to pull are cards of what you are focusing on. Where are you putting your attention, your energies, your thoughts? Where are we going for that? I am definitely going over here into this deck. This is the Sacred Traveler deck by Denise Lynn. Whoop! And we almost had a card fly already. Didn't quite make it to the floor though. All right, Taurus, what are the Taurans focusing on? Okay, we've got 4 cards here. Interesting. Okay. Next, we are going to look at your difficult influences and challenges. Yeah. Difficult influences and challenges for Taurus for the first half of October. Oh, and that one's on the floor. And, well, that one didn't make it all the way to the floor. Okay. We do have quite a number of cards here for you, Taurus. Okay. How many cards do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. We will have a look at them. The next cards that we're going to pull for you are cards of messages that you need to hear at this time. What messages do the Taurans need to hear at this time? What does Taurus need to hear? I actually think that there's more than one. I'm going to go through the deck one more time. Just sensing there's one more. We'll just go through once. If anything jumps out, great. If not, then if not. Yeah. I kind of thought there was one more in there. Okay. The next cards we're going to pull is unexpected. Unexpected influences, unexpected insights. What is coming up for you guys? Unexpected influences and insights for Taurus. All right, so we have 3 cards out in that area of your life. And finally, your general overall outcome. Where are we going for that? We're going back over as we begin. So shall we end? We're going back over here to the Osho Zen. And that card is on the ground. And so is that one. Okay. All right, let's get started. Taurus, where are you at now? Ooh. Okay. You have the 10 of Wands here. You have the Page of Wands, and you have the Trust card, also another page. This is the Page of Water. So the first card that you have is the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands is a card of suppression. It's a card of holding yourself back. And this is typically because you're holding on to certain belief systems that no longer serve your highest good. What am I picking up here? I've got an image coming up of cobwebs of an old house, something that we might see in not so much a haunted movie type thing, but what this image that's coming up in my mind brings up for me, Taurus, is that there's some old, outdated belief systems in your purview, and they are detrimentally affecting you being able to move forward. In fact, they are suppressing you. They've got you tied up in chains and ropes, as you can see here. They've got you so that you are confuzzled. Is that a word? Confuzzled and confused, and your thoughts are all confused right now. And part of the reason that's happening is because this old way of thinking, these old traditions and thoughts. In fact, I mean, I've got all these cards sitting face down, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of the cards here indicating perhaps some Hierophant type work coming up for you, Taurus, because that's the real sense that I'm getting here. I think that there's a change or a shift that you want to happen, and yet there's an old belief system that is preventing you from being able to move forward. So for example, okay, I'm going to go there with my own life. Okay, I was told my whole life, you grow up, you go to school, you go to post-secondary, you get married, you have kids, you get a job or career, you work for someone else your whole life, and then you retire. If I had held on to that belief that I needed to work for someone else my whole life, I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be traveling full time with my son. I would not have written a book about my travels and my adventures, and I certainly would never admit publicly that I was a psychic if I had held on to those old, outdated belief systems that I was raised with. And I'm sensing for you, Taurus, right now, that that's what you're bumping up against. The belief system, for example, in monogamy for life, okay? That is something that many people right now are exploring and questioning. Is it right for you? Is it wrong for you? Traditional education. Is it right for you and your family to send your 4-year-old off to school and leave them in school until they are 18, or if they go to post-secondary until they're 21 or 22 years old? Or is it more conducive to your life and your lifestyle to perhaps try something like homeschooling. These are the types of things. Now, I'm not pushing one way or the other as better by any means, and I'm not pushing that monogamy isn't right for people. Don't get me wrong here. All I'm doing is opening the door to these conversations that, Taurus, I feel that you need to have in your head, in your mind, because there are outdated models right now for you, Taurus, that are no longer serving you, and it's causing you to feel this suppression. It is also causing you to feel intensity. You feel like your life is intense. Why is your life so intense? Your life's intense because you can't make these decisions and these choices. So what do? How do you come out of this? Trust. Look at the picture on this card. I love it. It's just a character who has taken a leap of faith into the unknown. And this is what's coming up for me, Taurus, is that eventually in the coming days and months, you're going to have to take a leap of faith into the unknown. There is something, before I turn over the other cards, there's something that is coming up from your past that you have not dealt with, and it's going to bubble and brew to the surface again and again and again until you actually deal with it, and it's going to make you feel like you are suppressed or repressed. It's going to make you feel like your life is intense. Eventually, you're going to have to take that leap of faith, Taurus. Oh my God, begin now. Take your first step. Okay, these are the cards of what you are focusing on. Begin now. Take your first step, Taurus. Surrender to the journey. Yeah, this is all about trust. Surrender to the journey. Release control. This is something you're going to have to do. Embrace enthusiasm. Shout to the heavens with happiness. The reason that you're going to want to shout to the heavens with happiness, Taurus, is because once you actually finally make this decision, once you finally tackle this situation, it's going to feel like there's this weight just completely lifted off your shoulders. And wow, it is going to be life-altering for you. How do I know that? Because you have the transformation card coming up. The transformation card, this card, most oracle card decks, and this is an oracle card deck, correspond in some way, shape, or form to the tarot. Some of the cards have similar meanings. This particular card corresponds to the death card in the traditional tarot. Transformation, metamorphosis, your whole life, your whole way of being is going to change and shift. Doors are going to start to open once you finally decide to let go of this past stuff and trust and move forward. Begin now. Begin now. Surrender to the journey. There is something that you need to deal with. Like I said, this is the death card. So one way or the other, this situation needs to be resolved. And you can't delay it much longer when this card comes up. Your difficult influences right now. The Magician. Not surprised to see this card here. The Magician is all about you not believing in your own abilities and capacities to change your own life for the better. You have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is a card of, you know what? Things are going to start happening rapidly. This is coming up in your difficult influences because you don't want things to happen rapidly. You're kind of sitting back going, yeah, okay, like status quo. This card's saying that's not going to cut it anymore. You have the Ace of Pentacles in your difficult influences. Why is this card here in your difficult influences? This is a card of new beginnings. It's in your difficult influences because you can't have new beginnings if you're still stuck in suppressing and repressing and feeling like you're suppressed and repressed. You have the Hierophant. Taurus, at the very beginning of this reading, I said to you, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Hierophant come up. And there's the Hierophant in your reading as predicted. Let's go into the Hierophant really briefly. And why is the Hierophant in your difficult influences? The Hierophant is in your difficult influences, Taurus, because you don't want to face this. You don't want to buck traditions. You don't want to buck belief systems. You don't want to rock the boat. Oh, wait. You have a boat in your reading. What's the boat telling you to do? It's telling you to surrender to the journey and release control. The Hierophant work is about exploring traditions and institutions from our past. That includes family, society, and our culture that we're raised in. It includes the educational institutions that we are raised in. It includes the religious institutions, post-secondary institutions, medical institutions, all of these grand concepts that we're raised with. Oh, if you get sick, you need to go see this person. Marriage. There are different traditions for marriage in different cultures. These are what the Hierophant calls into question and asks you to explore deeply, deep, deep, deep. A deep exploration of this. And once you have made that exploration and you realize what traditions resonate for you and you want to bring forward in your life, and what traditions you want to go, yeah, that's not working in 2023. Begin now. Begin implementing those changes in your life right away. You have the Queen of Cups in reverse. Queen of Cups in reverse is an indication that relationships may sour if you don't do this work. Relationships may already be sour because relationships are a dynamic that taps into the universal consciousness. And as the universal consciousness changes, i.e., we no longer have a requirement to have 10, 12, 14 children because the vast majority of us don't live on farms, and we don't need 10 or 12 children anymore because we don't need them to work the farm. And in addition to that, infant mortality rates are far lower than they used to be 200 years ago. So again, that's Hierophant work, right? So relationships, one-on-one, monogamy, as I mentioned, all of this kind of stuff is what the Hierophant is bringing up. And globally in our consciousness, we are exploring these traditions from 150, 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago. We're exploring all of that and we're saying, hey, some of this isn't working anymore. Some people have come to that realization and they've made those changes already, those energetic shifts. And others, like you, Taurus, right now, are not quite there yet. You haven't made that shift yet. And what that's doing is it's causing a souring of some of your relationships with this Queen of Cups in reversed. You also have the Four of Swords here. And the Four of Swords came up in reverse. Now, the Four of Swords, when it is facing this way, oops, let's get that reflection off there. The Four of Swords, when it's facing this way, is a call to retreat, a call to pay attention to your sleep patterns, a call to meditation and spending time on your own, withdrawing for the purposes of going within and determining what's right for you. This came up not only in your difficult influences, but also came up in reverse, Taurus, indicating that right now, you're not doing the work that you need to do internally in order to be able to have this transformation and move into this new energy and this new life, this new way of being that you're called into. Everyone has value. One of the messages that you need to hear at this time. Okay. Just because someone's Hierophant type beliefs, just because somebody's holding on to a tradition or somebody has let go of a certain tradition, they still have value. And inspire others. Be an inspiration for others. This card can often indicate that you're getting to the point, Taurus, where it's going to be time for you to step up and step into the role of being a mentor for others. Let's turn over the cards here for your unexpected. You have the Emperor. The Emperor is a strong, powerful, masculine figure. He makes things happen. Now, the Emperor does come from more of this space rather than the heart space. He makes his decisions from his mind, from his brain, but he's a strong, compassionate leader. And so the Emperor coming in your unexpected is indicating that decisions are going to need to be made fairly quickly. That is reinforced by this Seven of Spring, also known as the Seven of Wands. I can't make this up. Read that. It says, be assertive. Change is coming. Transformation is coming. You need to untie yourself from this suppression, Taurus. And the best way to do that is to really, really dig deep, do this Hierophant work, and then implement it. And the best way to do that is going to be Four of Swords here. Doing a little bit of withdrawal. Do your meditations. Even if you think your meditations aren't taking you somewhere, just quieting your mind for 10 minutes every day is life-altering. Even if you're not having those lightning bolt type moments, quieting your mind is going to give you clarity so that you can make better decisions. And finally, in your unexpected, you have the Awakening card. This is the equivalent to the Hanged Man in the traditional tarot, and the Awakening card is about seeing things from a different perspective, right? The Hanged Man sees things from upside down. And earlier in your reading, I said, Taurus, you need to see things from a higher perspective, from a global perspective, the big picture. And now, in your unexpected, you are being called upon to see things from a different perspective. Let's have a look at your general overall outcome here. Yes. In your general overall outcome, you have the Mind card. This card is the equivalent to the Knight of Swords. Look at the character on this card. The character on this card is so caught up in his mind, it brings back kind of memories of this card as well, the suppression card from the very beginning of your reading. So what this is telling me is that if you don't do this Hierophant work, you're going to end up, as we begin, so shall we end. You're going to want to do this work, Taurus. Now, here's the thing. You watch these videos so that you know what's coming, so that you can use your free will, so that you can make changes, so that you don't end up in the same place as where you began. These cards are indicating that you have a choice right now. Either you can end up in your mind, all stirred up and buzzy and suppressed, or you can do this work and end up here. This is the Traveling card. This is the card corresponding to the Eight of Wands. This card corresponds not only to physical travel in the physical world. Now, we all know that traveling in the physical world to different places, to different countries, experiencing different cultures and foods, etc., expands our mind, expands our consciousness, and really expands our Hierophant work. Okay? When we see how different cultures have changed, adapted, etc., etc., it expands our mind and it opens us up to new possibilities of how we can live, what we can bring back from those cultures. So that is beautiful for you, Taurus. And in the end, the final card of your reading is the Ace of Swords, the Consciousness card. This is about new beginnings. This is about opening your mind to 2023. What's right for you now, Taurus? All right. I hope that this resonated deeply for you. And if it did, please consider subscribing to the channel. And as well, give the video a like. It really does help me move up and get out there and get these messages out to more people. Also, Taurus, if you are interested in booking a private consultation with me, my contact details are down below. And I would like to invite you to allow me the honor of doing your next reading for you in the middle of October. Take care, everyone.